it's a well-known fact that the suicide rate within the traveller community in Ireland is way higher than that of wider society in Ireland. Indeed, the official figure is actually 6 times higher. It was a fact which was outlined a couple of months ago at the launch of a network lobbying for improved mental health services for travellers. It was called the National Traveller Mental Health Network, and as I recall, it was launched in Galway a couple of months ago, as I say. Sligo-based traveller community representative Bernard Sweeney says he believes he knows the root cause of these problems and why this figure is so high. Bernard, welcome to the programme.
Thank you very much for having me on. I suppose I'll just start off by saying that I have absolutely no expertise in mental health as such as a professional stance. So whatever I do say, whether I believe it, it's more that I feel it. And the reason I feel it is because since I was 5 years of age, I could recognise the difference between settled and traveller. And later in life, I could recognise the paradoxes, the different dynamics, the different patterns in both communities. And that has led to me to a great deal of turmoil because I was outside of the education system. I never went to college. I left school when I was 13. I didn't even have a 13-year-old level education. So with that, I was burdened with not being able to communicate with people that I would see on the other side, such as professionals. So all it came down to really was a clash of mentalities. And that's what it is. Travellers settled. You can remove them for a moment and just say it's based on mentality. And our mentality has streamed for thousands of years without any serious interruptions, such as the British conquest in the 1600s, where they set up Trinity College, Maynooth College, colleges around Cork. All the college, all the education, all the political landlord systems, education system, all came from a particular mentality, and that was the British conquest mentality. So we had survived absolute colonisation, you might want to call it. And that's nobody's fault. It was a case that people volunteered. It was a process. It was a brutal one. It was to beat the Irish out of you and have you thinking, feeling, and the psyche being in English. So again, it's mentalities. The whole traveller settled thing should be put aside for a moment, because in Ireland in general, even with the settled community, we've one of the highest suicide rates in Europe. So there is deep-root causes, and I honestly, truly feel that it is a clash of mentalities. And one of the reasons I've found it difficult to get this out before is because I didn't really truly know. So it's only with self-learning that I found that there's so many patterns between Irish travellers, Indigenous people in America, African Americans, New Zealand, Aborigines, you name it. It's almost identical. All the statistics are almost to perfection to one another, all high suicide rates, alcohol abuse, high levels of unemployment. So when you find that connection, you recognise that, again, it's a mentality. They're clashing against English-speaking countries that are also colonised. So again, it's mentalities. That's one of the parts I'm trying to get out there, I suppose.
Right, okay. And we have the statistics and they're fine and we accept them and all that. But is that your experience in your life as well? You would have known people, would you?
Of course, yeah. I've been attempted suicide, extended family members have committed suicide, cousins have committed suicide. Cousin committed suicide a few days ago, same age as me. So, yeah, it's 82% of travellers in Ireland. That's 82% that has been affected by suicide. There's families that I know of that have lost 7 family members to suicide. That's one family that 7 of their members committed suicide. So it is a very, very serious thing. And again, when I come on, I don't want to be criticising travel organisations. I'm not even blaming the state the way I used to. Because again, it's based on the mentality. They believe what they are doing is the best because it's not in their conscious mind to be ever outside of that system, outside that mentality. So when you say to a settled person, or in the same way you would say to any person from any other country, any other culture, this is what we do, this is how you do it. That might have a profound effect on them. And
okay. Do you think that the state and the various agencies are doing enough then to address this problem?
What I feel is happening is, now I just want people to also keep this in mind. In the 1950s, we lived in deplorable conditions, as had a lot of people around the country. But what happened now is that our living conditions have slightly improved, as has everybody else's. But our health statistics have gotten worse. So we're dying younger. Our life expectancy is the same as 1947. So there's something fundamentally wrong with all of this. Regardless of all of the fundamental or investment that might go into it, it wouldn't matter about the organisations because they too are operating on a very similar system of the mentality I was talking about. So I'm not criticising. They are treating symptoms. I feel that we could have just the root cause of it all, and not just for Ireland, but right across the globe.
All right, okay, but surely the experts in this field would recognise, as you have, in your opinion, that it comes down to this what you call clash of mentalities. Have they not worked that out for themselves over a period?
Yeah, maybe again. It sounds like a case of I know better and everybody else is wrong. I rarely ever got the opportunity to talk about it in the first place because I found myself ostracised by the organisations. When I go to politicians, they'll tell me they're working with the experts, i.e. the organisations. If I go to funders, they're telling me they're working with the organisations. So I'm not trying to say everybody else is wrong and I'm right. I'm just saying there could be another way to look at this, which proves that what everybody else is doing is actually making everything else worse. So what else is there to lose? So it's getting that kind of platform. Now, we're also hoping to have a 2-day conference in April. And we're also hoping to invite Indigenous leaders from around the world because we'd like to present what we have and see how it fits in everywhere else. So we're also hoping to get Mark Charles, who's a Native American Navajo tribe, who's also currently running for the presidency of America. So we're hoping to have him back also. And again, this is not against the minorities versus the majorities, the travellers versus the settled. This is just a human thing. It'll benefit, I believe, everybody. Because at this stage, when you look at world statistics and the worries and the fears and the concerns and the rises, the far right and all of that, at this stage, what else have we got to lose anyway?